You're welcome to Wild Left Religion with Coach Renz. Today, I'm going to piss off a whole nother group of people, most of which are all black people. And y'all gonna be pissed. Now, if you've listened to my videos, you know I pissed off Christians, I pissed off Muslims, I pissed off the Hebrew Israelites. Well, today, it's the Moors' turn. That's right, it's the Moors' turn. The reason why I'm going to piss them off is not because they claim to be Moor. It's not because of the ones who are out there and they are doing the paperwork in order to not so much get themselves as sovereign, but to take control of their birth certificate and to have certain benefits and rights that most people don't realize that they have. So I applaud them for that. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this cherry picking of history bullshit that they do. It's the cherry picking of history that most people do, which is why most people are jacked the hell up in their head. If you've been following my videos, and please, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe and like button. Do a super thanks and you can get a comment made into a video. But here's the thing. Why in the hell do people like to pick and choose their history points that they then make claims of that's who they are? If you are going to claim to be a Moor, claim the entire freaking history. The good and the bad. You see, when I claim my African ancestry, I recognize that, yes, there were African tribes who then conquered other tribes and sold them off to slaves and then sold them off to European slaves and also Arab trades, in the Arab trade, slave trade. Yeah, they did that. When they learned what the trueness of what was going on with those slaves, they stopped and then they fought, and then some of them were made slaves as well. That's how my black ass got to America. So for all y'all who are going to say that you're indigenous, yes, I have some family members who are indigenous to America as well. But let's not go all the way back to migration time frames. We've done that before. If you don't believe in migration, you think they just poof people here in America, or America is the oldest known civilization, you are fooling yourself. Keep digging deeper. But here's my problem with the Moorish people. Everybody that I've ever talked to who always claims Moor, the only thing that they actually look at is that time frame in which the Moors conquered North Africa, the Iberian Peninsula, and the Italian Peninsula. The fact that they brought science to Europeans, they brought hygiene to Europeans, they brought colleges and universities to Europeans. They brought them out of a pretty much a dark age of intelligence. And I get that. That's to be applauded. But you like it because of the air of superiority that it gives you over the people who have the superiority right now. Let's be real. White people have dominated this world for the last, what, 400, 500, 600 years? And now that you can claim the Moorish descendancy, you're claiming a part of time where black people dominated white people. And yes, there is no question that Moors were black. The original Moors were black. The whole word Moor, whether you look at it from the Italian version, the Latin version, the Greek version, every other version of that word means black and refers to the people, black people. Later on, was it more integration? Of course, yes. But in Egypt, in Kemet, they were called black people. They had a time of greatness. And I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is that when you look at a group of people, when you look at someone like right now in our current history, I grew up with the USSR, the Soviet Union. But right now, this is not the Soviet Union, it's Russia, it's Putin. It's all the different countries that used to be part of Russia, and that's how I view the people, through the lens of what they are today or their most recent history. So what is the lens that you can view Moors for their most recent time frame, post this golden era that y'all like to jump on? And then we're going to get to the religion part. Y'all like to jump on this golden era, but y'all will stop right at 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue to wreck the fuck out of everything. 1492, the Moors get kicked out of the Iberian Peninsula, the Italian Peninsula. And what did they do after that? They sided with the enemy. But wait, let's go back. even before 1492, even before Columbus sailed, even before the transatlantic slave trade started, before Columbus came over here and just decimated people, before Cortez, before Vespucci, before all of them. Your black Moors, who was their only distinction from being the sub-Saharan Africans, was the fact that they wore the fez and they as were Islamic. They started the trans-Sahara slave trade. That's right. Your black Moors went into black Africa, grabbed people who were not Islamic, who did not wear the fez, and Hebrew Israelites, please don't get up here and say they only went after the Jewish people who were there. There's very little history of Jewish people in West Africa. Very little. And the number of people that the Moors took in the trans-Sahara slave trade is far greater than the number of Jewish people that were in West Africa. No, they took West Africans who were practicing their home religion, whether it is modern day Ifa, Voodoo, whatever. But your black Moors, only identified by their religion of Islam and their fez, came into southern Africa, Central Africa, and enslaved across the Sahara their own people that looked like them. You applaud them for what they did for white people, but you try to ignore what they did to black people. So after 1492, they sided with the Europeans. It was four Moors, actually, brothers, who guided Columbus's ships over here, who gave him the secret of the hurricane, of the sea current, the ocean current that brought you to the Americas. It was your Moorish brothers who did that. It was your Moorish brothers who was able to somewhat translate with the people, because the people over here had a similar West African dialect. It is in their own journals. That's what they wrote. You like accepting what they wrote, accepting this history, accept the hell out of that. And then, I know I'm cursing a little bit because it irritates the hell out of me when people pick and choose what part of history they want to attach themselves to. So let me calm thyself down. Woosah. Because this is the worst part. Because as we move into more current history, when Germany attacked Ethiopia, you see a bunch of fez wearing, and this is not like a long time ago. It's not a long time ago. This is when they had movies, recordable video. It was the Moors who were attacking and massacring and genociding Ethiopian people, who sided with the Germans to kill black people with their fezes on. But let's take just an inch step before that. For the worst one, your boy King Leopold. King Leopold, who went into the Congo and massacred, genocide 30 million black people over resources, after giving them Christianity and forcing Christianity on them. Let me not say give, forcing Christianity on them. Genocided 30 million people. Maimed millions more. Cut off arms and hands and legs to the people of the Congo. But your Moors sided with them. They was on that team. They went in and genocided and massacred and lamed and maimed their own people that looked like them. And I know at this point you're going to say, well, no, there were the Arabs then. The Arabs took over. The Arabs were part of it. It was mixed in with Arabs. Yeah, there was some Arabs mixed in. But your happy ass is still running around claiming Moor. Your happy ass is still running around claiming the religion of the people that came down into where most of your ancestors actually came from and genocided them. You've taken up their name. Trust and believe, this Christian English name that I have right now will soon be gone. But y'all jump on that bandwagon. Y'all want to claim to be Moors because of one speck of history. Do you know how many pieces of history you can go back into and claim if you want to be that kind of person that doesn't have all of this bullshit? There's a movie coming out soon, The Woman King. the Dahomey. Claim that. Yeah, they sold slaves of the people that they had wars against. But then they fought against the French. They fought against the imperialism. They fought until they couldn't, until they lost, until they died. But now they're the country of Benin. Their history is more palatable than your Moorish history of the Trans-Sahara slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade. At least a European can only talk about the fact that their heritage participated in the transatlantic. Shit, y'all participated in both. And you want to act like their knowledge was so great. Where the hell do you think they got their knowledge from? They got their knowledge from the same place that the Europeans got their knowledge from. They got it from Kemet. They got it from Mali, Timbuktu. They got it from Sumeria, where these were all black people and ancient civilizations that was in place long before a European ever came out of a cave, long before an Arab, a Moor ever got his ass off of a damn camel walking around in the middle of the desert looking for an oasis, long before they were bandits robbing people, long before they even formed, long before Ibn Sahi and Malik came up with the idea that by placing a little known sect called Islam in place to control the people, long before that happened, the Kushites, the Kemites, the Dogons, these were all people in Northern Africa. I'm sticking with mostly Northern Africa here. We don't even have to go into Southern Africa and all the great civilizations that were in place down there. Just Northern Africa, since you want to be Moorish. But they got all their knowledge from those people. Without their knowledge, they would have never become who they became. As a matter of fact, if you really think about it, Ibn Sahi and Malik gained their understanding of how to use religion to control the people in around the 500 CE from watching how the Romans utilized the Catholic Church in order to control all of Rome. And then as Rome began to dissipate, the Moors began to conquer North Africa and then into the Iberian and the Italian Peninsula based on that knowledge and based on that ability. They picked up information from Kemet of how to take care of themselves, how to perform medicine, how to perform surgeries, how to create medicine, I should say, how to perform surgeries, how they should maintain their hygiene and the hygiene of their animals and their homes. So if you want to claim that they went and talked to Europeans, well, they were taught by the Kemetic people and the Dogons and the people of Mali, the people that they conquered, because they were vicious and vile. And the only way that they can establish themselves is not through free trade, it's not through intelligence, but by the sword, which is what the Trans-Sahara slave trade was. It was by the sword. A Moor is pointing his sword at a black child and saying, you will worship Allah or I'll kill your parents. The child becomes Islamic. He's pointing the sword at the parents and he's telling the parents, he's pointing the sword at the parents and telling the parents, I'm going to kill your children unless you become Islamic. And they become Islamic. It is not through some grand revelation. And y'all running around thinking that this God has brought you deliverance. It has only come through violence. It has only come through slavery. It has only come through warfare. Not through grand revelation. Not through miracles performed that you like, the sun has moved in reverse and I actually freaking saw it. I saw him put his hand on a tree and all of a sudden fruit sprung from the tree. I seen a person dead and that person was raised from the dead. Y'all claim stories like that bullshit happened back in the day, but you have no actual proof that any of it happened. Just like I can sit here right now and tell you and say that before my father died, he laid his hands on a dying puppy. As the puppy was dying and then it died, took its last breath, he said some words, called upon the energy of the universe, and the dog sprang back to life. Can you prove that it didn't happen? Can you prove it didn't happen? If I write it in a book 200 years from now, 2,000 years from now, can you prove that it didn't happen? No, you can't. But neither can you prove that it actually happened. This is the same with all your stories. You can't prove none of them happened. And then some of it's stupid. When Muhammad returns, he needs a ladder to be placed at the mosque, at the Dome of the Rock, so he can climb down from there? If this motherfucker descended all the way from heaven, what the hell does he need a ladder for? Land on the ground if that's where you want to land. It makes no sense. But y'all go for that. You go for it because you have low self-esteem. You go for that because you don't have a sense of self. When you have to rely on the history of an ancient people that you have never known, nor do you know the politics or the culture of those people, when you have to sit up there and just pick that one little spot of history, but ignore all the other negative shit that's even more current, and look at the Arabs now, look at your Moors now, what the hell are they doing? Are they doing great things? No. But when you have to rely on that, when you have to identify yourself with something like that, all it's showing is how much you don't have enough self-esteem within yourself. To hell with any culture, government, nationality, race, gender that you was ever born into and have assimilated towards. Self-esteem is something that you develop within yourself. Knowledge of self. I do not need the history of someone else to validate my greatness. I do not need the accomplishments of someone else to validate who I am and what I'm able to accomplish within myself. I do not need to pray to some deity, sacrifice animals, go and take a Eucharist in order to validate who I am. In order for me to feel good about who I am. I don't even need your freaking book to tell me not to murder somebody, to know that murdering ain't right. That stealing and killing is not a good thing. That rape is not a good thing. I don't need a book to tell me that. If you need a book in order for you to have morality, you have a problem with yourself. You are the deviant. You know what? You need Jesus. You need Allah. Because if you need a book to tell you how to be a good father, to be a good mother, to be a good brother, sister, cousin, nephew, uncle, niece, whatever, you got a problem. And that problem is inside you. And the fact that you keep looking outside yourself to try to solve that problem just shows how deranged your mind and your heart and your energy is. And you really should take some time to reconcile that, to look inside yourself and stop looking outside yourself. People like the Hebrew Israelites always like to come and ask me, do you know your nationality? Do you know your nationality? Nationality is a man-made thing. Race is a man-made thing. Tribal people groups are man-made things. The only thing that is real is me, who I am. I don't need a nationality. I live in America. I'm born in as American. I have an American nationality. Do I give a fuck about having an American nationality? If you know me, if you've been listening to me long enough, I don't give a shit about whatever country I live in. All it is dirt to me. The only thing I'm concerned about is what laws and the culture that's around me and how those laws and culture enable me to either be great or not be great. How they are obstacles or they are not obstacles. Or what type, there's always obstacles no matter where you move to. But what type of obstacles? Do I feel anxiety when I see a police officer or do I not? Do I walk into a place and I'm already prejudged because of the skin color of the shell of the body that I'm dwelling in today? That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. But my self-identity, my self-worth, my value to myself has absolutely nothing to do with being Moors, being Jews, being Hebrew Israelites, Christian, American, African American, African ancestry descent. It has nothing to do with that. It all has to do with who I see myself as and how I act and I participate in this shared universal consciousness that we're all in. Because at the end of the day, your consciousness is not black. Your consciousness is not white. Your consciousness is not male or female. Your consciousness is not Hebrew. It's not Muslim. It's not Christian. It's none of those things. Your consciousness is one with the universe. Your consciousness is an energy that continues to transmute from one form to the next form to the next form. You were not always in the form you're in now. You will not always be in the form that you're in now. And until you learn to let that go, until you learn to release that, you will never, ever, ever reach the fullness of what you truly are. And the fact that you got to gravitate towards some society, some group to make yourself feel important or feel better just shows how disconnected from the all and from everything within the universe that you are. So instead of looking and running around talking about I'm a Moor and dressing up in your red and gold, instead of running around saying I'm a Hebrew Israelite and dressing up in your Power Ranger uniforms, yelling at people on the street, instead of walking around as a Christian, praying for everybody and waiting on heaven to come and all that, instead of being a Muslim and bowing east 5 times a day and all this stuff, how about trying to get to know who you really are? How about digging within yourself? How about opening up your chakras, which is just the Eastern form of opening up your energy ports so that you fully develop into the divine energetic being that you are. Stop worrying about the shell. Stop trying to validate the shell. Validate the inside. And if you don't want to go that deep, how about this? Start out by being a good person. Start out by being a good husband. Be a good wife. Be a good brother. Be a good sister. Be a good aunt, uncle. Take care of the people that's around you, that's close to you. Learn how to not tell lies. Learn how to not feel hate and anger and frustration, jealousy and stress all the time and walk around in your anxieties. How about trying to first just live to be the best moral person you can possibly be, regardless of what any book says? And then start to realize who you truly are. Maybe you'll have a great life, and maybe you will actually go and join back with the all and not have to come back to this matter plane of existence and deal with all the bullshit of cherry picking history that most people do. But hey, that's just me. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness, it's non-negotiable. Good vibrations, good journey.